Hey, hi, Demetra. Okay, so I'm up. Well, I'm actually laying down, but I'm up. Oh goodness, I'm stretched. Okay, so I have been up. What? Never mind. I have been up, um, taking notes on within Genesis, basically Genesis 1 through 3. Yes, Demetra again, because it seems like, I ain't gonna say I'm trying to move forward past it. I mean, I am, but at the same time, I'm like, I'm still trying to get a clear understanding. And like when I be rereading parts of Genesis 1 through 3, it's like more things appear, and I'm just like, oh, wait, this, that, and keep going back and forth. So I'm like still on Genesis 1 and 3, 1, 2, and 3. And so it's like watching a movie that you watched years ago and then you rewatched it, again after not watching it for years, and then you rewatched it and then you see different things in it that you didn't pick up on previous times or previous time you watched the movie. So that's kind of what I'm um, feeling or going through with Genesis 1, 2, and 3. So I'm like taking more notes and I'm like, that's something to think about. That's something to think about. And like I said, the reason why, I'm doing this is to get a clear understanding because I mean, I get the book. I get like, how can I say this? I mean, I don't know. I'm just like, for me, I'm like, how can I personally move forward past something if I don't even know the beginning? Or how can I take something so literal when things is contradicting each other and in the beginning it's not really making too much sense? Or you got to put pieces together, decode things in order to move on. Or why move on when you ain't even don't even fully understand the beginning? Again, that's like watching a movie or reading a storybook, like a legit storybook that's like, things have decency and an order. Like you really can't skip a chapter in a storybook wise. Because if you do, you miss something, then you got to catch up, then you got to figure out what's going on, you know, in a storybook and in a movie. Like if you come on in the middle of a movie and then you watch it for 15, 20 minutes, you got to be like, okay, I don't miss the beginning, but I got to put pieces together to figure out how the middle part is coming to play, and then whatever. So that means you probably got to ask people around, hey, what happened in the beginning? Why is this person this? Why is that person that? Why is this building this way? Then the people you asking that's watching the movie probably be like, listen, if this person don't just rewatch it, themselves, or just watch it and figure out their own selves, because now you interrupting me because I'm explaining to you the beginning, because you came in on the middle and you making me miss what's going on now by explaining it to you, making me miss parts. But anyways, so yeah, so basically I'm like, I don't know, when I read books, I start from the beginning. I start from the beginning and go up that way and stay in chronological order. I don't be flipping back and forth to different pages in the storybook and then going back and then going forward, in the storybook. Okay. So, what about this thing? So, the Bible, it's like you can do that. That's how basically, I guess, how it started. Like, I'm quite sure we ain't, oh, excuse me. I'm quite sure that it wasn't like, okay, get this book and read from the beginning. It's more so get this book and turn to this page, turn to that page, turn to that page, you know. So it wasn't really focusing on the beginning. And also, I don't see, I'm not even really, did I even start the topic yet? But okay, so I'm just talking basically now. And also, I feel as though, like the book, any book, well, no, I'm gonna just say the Bible since I'm talking about the Bible. And I'm thinking since the Bible, a lot of Christians, they like this is the way of life. Like this is the guidebook. You're supposed to be living by this book. And they holding it up. And when I be seeing people doing that, like holding it up and saying, this is the book that we supposed to go by, it just looks so spellish, like people holding up a spell book, something that's bounding them, that's got control over them. And it's like, this is my master. These pages, this paper is my master, and I'm gonna do whatever it says in this book. And it's like, what? But don't you be talking, shouldn't you be talking to your master on one? Like this book, these pages is written by man. And then it's a part in it that was like, don't take nothing from it, don't add anything. But then yet they got an Old Testament and a New Testament. So I'm like, obviously things had to be added and subtracted. But then yet still the Christians, it's like, hey, we gotta live by this book. This is the code of life. We gotta go by this book. This is the standards. This is the only book we supposed to be going by. It's the guide of how we supposed to be living. But then at the same time talking about, oh well, the Old Testament, that's outdated. So, we're going by the New Testament because the Old Testament, you can stone people, you can do this. It was an eye for an eye and this and that. So we move past that. That's old. We in the New Testament. But I'm like, okay, cool. I understand that. But now, don't y'all think it's time for a New Testament? Because this New Testament that the Christians is currently living by, because they say the Old Testament is old now. So things got to change, even though it says don't change or add anything to it. But hey, it's a New Testament that people holding up and proclaiming life to, devotion to a book, to pages, to paper. And I'm like, now isn't it time for a New Testament? Like, might as well. It's done already changed. Things already been taken out and put in. So why not have a new one, you know, to go by? Because obviously this one that's current, the New Testament, that's current now, seems like it's just a bunch of confusion, like a bunch of versus battle. People just have the same book, like I'm telling you, the exact same book, and then they reading the same scriptures, but they going against each other. They having debates. Hey, in this verse, in this chapter, it says this. But no, that's not what it means. If you go to this chapter and that chapter, it says this. Oh no, that's not what it mean. Well, listen, I done prayed to God before I read this page. This is what people are saying, when they have these verses battle reading from the same book. It's like I done prayed before I, open the book and I use my discernment, and then the other person will say the same thing. Well, me too. and the Lord told me this, and God told me this. And they're like, well, the Lord told me this, and it's like opposite of what each of them is saying. And but y'all reading from the same book. And then that's when they start arguing, was like, well, no, you probably was praying to somebody else because we came up with two different things. But yet y'all reading from the same book. So to me, this new one especially should start off, of course, in Genesis. And I believe this new one should be broken down into lamest terms so that like a kid can understand it, like a 5 or 6 year old can understand it, like reading from the beginning, you know? Because just reading Genesis 1 through 3, I mean, like throughout the years, of course, I don't read the book, not the whole Bible, but bits and pieces, throughout the years and, remember certain parts and everything. But I know being introduced to it, and I remember as a kid, I'm quite sure I didn't get introduced to in Genesis. In children's church, we was more so talking about the goodness of Jesus and God, and coloring pictures of Jesus underneath a tree with the animals and the kids, and stuff like that, and seeing pictures of him, on the cross, and learning about the devil, Satan, evil, all that. But I'm quite sure as a kid in children's church, I don't remember learning about Genesis, and if more so later on, it was about Adam and Eve. And then, truth be told, even in the Bible in Genesis 1, is a male and female before Adam and Eve that I don't hear too many people talking about. If anything, I don't really hear people even mentioning the male and the female that were created by Elohim. Adam and Eve were formed, well, Adam was formed from the dust, from the dirt in Genesis 2 by Lord God. That's man and woman. Later Eve was formed by his rib or something. And so that's how Adam and Eve came about later on in chapter 2 from Lord God, from forming from the ground, the dust, mud from the ground. But in chapter 1, it's a male and female that were created, the Elohim, that was not formed from the dirt or the ground. They was just created, spoken to existence, male and female. And like I said, a lot of people overlook that part and, probably don't even know that it's a male and female. And then I wish they don't because I see people combining them two. Like in Genesis 1, the male and female were blessed by God and was told to be fruitful and multiply and replenish and subdue the earth. But in Genesis 2, Lord God, two different names, God in Genesis 1 and Lord God in Genesis 2. The Lord God in Genesis 2 did not tell Adam, well, or Eve to be fruitful and multiply. Now, after they ate the fruit from the tree, that's when he was like, yeah, you're going to be conceiving, have conception. And, when you give birth, it's going to be painful, you know. So that was, I guess, supposed to be like a bad thing, since they ate from the tree. But Lord God didn't tell Adam and Eve to be fruitful and multiply. Lord God just basically said, tend to this garden, don't eat this, stay away from this this tree, whatever, whatever. But in Genesis 1, God created male and female and was like, look, you got dominion over every freaking thing, you know, replenish, replenish the earth, to do it. Um, you have dominion over every living thing. So, hey, but the word subdue, I looked it up. Where is it? I think it's uh, basically, it's like bring under control or place in order. So it seems like in Genesis 1, the male and female were created, brought into existence after the whales, the fish, the birds, the animals was already created, was already thought of, was already spoken to existence. So the male and female Elohim um, were created after that and was like, you know what? Y'all got to control this. Like, this, you got dominion over this, but you got to bring it into order. You got to replenish it. And, hey, so yes. But and I think I'm gonna do another video with the comparison of God and Lord God. And then I believe in Genesis 3 is called the Lord. Yeah, I think the Lord is introduced in Genesis 3. So Genesis 1 is God, Genesis 2 is Lord God, Genesis 3 is the Lord. So in a future later video, I'll most likely will be breaking that down. Really, like I said, this is for myself because I'm trying to get a clear understanding. Oh, and it's something in the Bible verse. I mean, in the Bible that says like lean not on your own understanding, but trust in the Lord with all thy heart, and everything will come into you. I think that's what it said. I'm trying to remember off from the top of my head, and I think that's in Proverbs. But so when I say that, oh, I know some Christians would probably be like, see, you don't supposed to lean on your own understanding. You're supposed to ask the Lord. And it's like, duh, that's what people do. That's what I've been doing, like asking and receiving and like, trying to get a clear understanding of what I'm reading. I pause, I think about it. I'm like, and for me, Demetra, it's so much easier when I write things down. Um, and when I can actually hold something in my hand. It's like, what's this airplane going past? Okay, when I can actually hold something in my hand. That's why recently, so I actually had got another physical Bible instead of just doing it on my phone because it's like I want something in my hand to turn the pages. It's just so much easier. And then also just getting a notepad and pen and writing things down on paper so I can actually see the visual of it. That's how I do things. I'm more so of a visual learner anyway. That's how I am. Like just throughout life. If I'm, the times that I was working, if somebody was like, yeah, so this is how we have to do this and put this thing together, and this is how this machine works, and if they just talking about it and saying, yeah, so you have to pull this part out and do that and yada, yada, yada. But then they not doing it physically. They just talking about it, like the procedures of it. I'm like trying to get, I be getting a visual in my mind, like, okay, that's how it has to happen. But me, I'm more so when a person is like, okay, let me demonstrate. This is how it goes. Let me show you how to do it. That's when I learn quicker and easier, of seeing somebody actually do it first or just demonstrating what it has to be done. So, I mean, for that part, that's what I'm just saying about myself, writing things down. Like I need to write it down so I can see how it looks on paper and also have a physical book to turn pages instead of using a phone or a laptop or electronic device that just stroll up. And yeah, you can hit things and buttons and highlight stuff, but no, I need to see it in my own handwriting because I might have to underline something, cross out something, bold print something. Um, it's just easier for me. Okay, so what I want to get into. So the title of this video, wow, finally getting into what the title is. So um, it's called The Seventh Heaven. I think something like that. I put. Okay, so anyways, after reading Genesis 1, 2, and 3, or just is really about Genesis 1 and the beginning of 2. So it was a show on TV called Seventh Heaven. It was a family together, going through problems and tribulations and whatever. And I think it was called that because I think it was 7 kids, or it was 5 kids and 2 parents. But then I think close to the end, I think the mother had a baby, or she probably had twins, so it was like 9 or 8. I don't. It was an old show, not old show, but it was a show that came on years back called Seventh Heaven. So with that being said, I'm like, the seventh heaven. There gotta be seven. Yeah, I ain't gonna say they gotta be, but is there seventh heaven? No, of course, back when the show was on TV, I wasn't thinking about how many heavens there is, because I'm just assuming it was just one. But reading Genesis, like I said, this is just for me, my understanding. It seems like the seventh heaven or the seventh day, the Sabbath day, um, is heavens. Basically, the days, all these days that were created, hey, that was the end of day one, that was the end of day two. This is in Genesis 1. That was the end of day three, like in Genesis 1, they say that was the end of the day, you know, those are heavens because at the end of Genesis, it said God rested on the seventh day, and that's how the heavens were created. So I'm like, seventh heaven. Oh, like, okay, where's the Bible? Okay, starting from Genesis 1. I'm going to explain this real quickly. Well, not quickly, like in a rush, but just okay. But anyways, Genesis 1, the very beginning, it said, "In the beginning, God created the heaven and the earth." Okay, that's basically the first statement. I'm gonna read it over. Genesis 1. In the beginning, God created the heaven and the earth. Now go down to Genesis 2. Um, The very first one. Thus the heavens and the earth were finished, and all the hosts of them. So in Genesis 1, the very first sentence is heaven. In the beginning, God created the heaven and the earth. In Genesis 2, the very first statement, thus the heavens and the earth were finished, and all the hosts of them. So Genesis 1, throughout Genesis 1, it was days. Um, it was what, 7 days? What did it say? Rested. Okay, going into Genesis 2, chapter 2, Genesis 2, verse 2. And on the seventh day, God ended his work which he had made and rested on the seventh day from all his work which he had made. And basically, and God blessed the seventh day and sanctified because it was the rest day, the day that he rested. So the seventh day is rest day. Seventh heaven, the show. Like I said, beginning of chapter 2, it's a S at heavens. Thus the heavens and the earth were finished. And chapter 1 is basically talking about how days, what God created, in different days. The first day he did this, the second day this happened, the third day, fourth day, the fifth day, the sixth day, then the seventh day was rest. So I'm thinking what I came up with is all these days are actually heaven. So day one is a heaven, day two is a heaven, day three is a heaven, day four is a heaven, day five is a heaven, day six is a heaven, and day seven is a heaven. And all of them are heavens with the S. If that makes sense. Well, to me, it does, Demetra, because that's all I'm just reading. I mean, it says it. Chapter 1. In the beginning, God created the heaven and the earth. And then it goes on into chapter 1 about the firmament and the waters and the dry land and earth and the grass and the herbs and the seasons, even in chapter 1, verse 14. And God said, let there be lights in the firmament of the heaven to divide the day from the night, and let them be for signs and for seasons and for days and years. So already in chapter 14, we God already knew that it's going to be like years and days and months and seasons, you know, and I guess different weather because that's the seasons, different seasons and stuff. And yeah, so and each day was like heaven. How can I say this? And God said, let the waters bring forth abundantly the moving creatures that have life and fowl that may fly over the earth in the open firmament of heaven. So, and I had broke this down in another video. The firmament is in the middle between the waters. The firmament divided the waters from above and the waters up top. And the firmament was called heaven. So I'm thinking in this firmament, it's different layers. That's when the days come in. Or hey, it could be, well, yeah, that could be. But basically, what I'm saying in this video is that in Genesis 1, it talks about the different days. Like I said, an evening and the morning were the fifth day. Let me see something else about evening and the morning. And God called the light day, and the darkness he called night, and the evening and the morning were the first day. Earth, sea. Okay, well, 13 in the evening and the morning were the third day. So I skipped the second day. On the second day, okay, that's 8, 1, 8. And God called the firmament heaven, and the evening and the morning were the second day. So I think the single days are heaven, like one heaven, day one is heaven, day two is heaven, day three is heaven. Oh, so I think every day is supposed to be as if it's heaven. Yeah, I think every day is supposed to be heaven. Yeah, but so yeah, like I said, beginning of okay, just 31, Genesis 1:31. And God saw everything that he had made, and behold, it was very good. And that's going to be another video about good. Good, but about the word good and how Genesis 1, everything was good. So at the end, it was like very good. Okay, but anyways, Genesis 1:31, and God saw everything that he had made, and behold, it was very good. And the evening and the morning were the sixth day. That's the end of chapter 1 of Genesis. Go to chapter 2, the beginning. Thus the heavens and the earth were finished, and all the hosts of them. So yeah, that's how I believe that the heavens are the days, and also being the Sabbath, the day of rest. From the beginning, it seemed like it started off with darkness. Go to Genesis 1, chapter 1, verse 2. It says, "And the earth was without form and void, and darkness was upon the face of the deep. And the Spirit of God moved upon the face of the waters." Now, what I want to point out that in that one is darkness. It started off being dark, okay? And then in 3, God said, "Let there be light." So we started off in darkness and then it was light, okay? Did that make sense? And then moving down, oh, and then again, and God saw that the light, it was good. Like I said, I'm gonna do another video about good, okay? But and basically, at the end, what I'm saying is, it started off being dark, and then God said, "Let there be light," and it was light. So to me, this is for me, Demetra. Darkness, I'm thinking moon, like dark moon. The sun, let there be light. That's sun. SUN. Because it was a greater light and a lesser light. But anyways, this is my perspective. This is my perspective, real quick. So I feel as though since it started off dark and then it became light, I feel like Monday is actually the beginning of the week and then goes to Sunday. So that would make Saturday, the seventh day. It started off dark and then it got light. Light to me is like Sunday, sunny days, light sun, Darkness is the moon. When the moon is out, it's normally be dark when you see the moon. So if it started off dark, that's Monday. The next day, let there be light, is Sunday. And then it goes Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. Saturday, which would give it the seventh day, the Sabbath day. So I think that's why some people go to church on the Sabbath day because they know that the week actually, like Monday, actually starts off the week. It's Monday, Sunday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, which makes Saturday the seventh day. But growing up, we went to church on a Sunday, on a light day, when it said, "Let there be light," instead of going on a dark day, which was Monday. But the seventh day, the Saturday, supposed to be the rest day. But, anyways, that's what I just have to say for now. Um, yeah, I'll come back. I'm sorry, I'm just stretching, Demetra. I'll come back and do another video. All right. Yay. Bye.